they always say, actually, never trust a skinny chef, right?
My friend Braden, he just said, he's like, don't trust any chef. We're all sketchy as fuck, right?
This is Careers Over Beers podcast, and today I'm wearing the aviators again because last time I looked pretty fly when I was wearing sunglasses. So I'm glad to be back in them. And we're not really drinking anything in particular today because you told me that you're cool with whatever.
Yeah, fuck it.
So I was like, okay, we'll get some Fat Tire. We have some Oktoberfest, and then you also brought.
I brought Starborough. It's a
Starborough
too, yeah.
Is that your favorite wine?
It is. It's always my go-to. If I see it, it's my go-to, unless it's like a cocktail bar.
It's a white Sauvignon Blanc.
You know, I just really liked it, and whenever I've been in weird places, Starborough has always been there.
Has it?
Yeah, it has.
It's always been there for you?
I'll be like, what do you got? And they're like, I'll see the logo. Oh, just give me a Starborough. And they're like, oh, cool. And
everybody needs
quick.
a little buddy like that that can help them out.
Same thing when I go to the coffee shops. I'll just order like an Americano. It's something really easy.
Americano?
And they're like, boom, boom.
Yep. There you
I
go.
just walk up. I don't have to be in
Flat
line.
white.
They see me. Yeah, boom.
Yeah. So Americano's your coffee drink of choice.
Yeah.
I'm a flat white guy.
What's a flat white?
Or a latte.
Latte.
I don't even know what a flat white is. Some guy introduced it to me when we were on a
Really?
trip one time, and he's like, yeah, I think it's just like half and half in espresso.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Kind of like a latte,
Uh-huh.
but it's not steamed, I don't think. That's a difference.
Are you familiar with the doppio?
No.
It's just like a fancy way of just saying, I want the shots in the cup, so you just go up. So
You just want shots of espresso in a cup?
Straight shots of espresso in the cup, right? So most people are like, what do you mean? You know, don't you want something with it? So if you just order the doppio, they're like, okay, I know what you mean. However, the thing is that you can really only order it in like fancier parts of town. It's like even if you go to like 21st, I'm not trying to talk trash on any of the local baristas. Like you go places and you say a doppio and they're like, what? And so when you ask them this random question, they don't really know what it is. I pay like.
So they're not a real barista then if they're.
I don't know about, everyone's in a different stage of their journey.
Sure.
But the way they ring it up is always different. So I've paid like $3.50, $2.49 or.
Oh, so they're just kind of ballparking it every time that they ring it up.
To see what will happen. I'm just a doppio. And then some people are like, okay, and they just go with it. And
so it's just shots of espresso in a cup.
That's it.
That sounds like something Ozzy Osbourne would order.
If you get it with a little bit of honey, just a little bit, enough just to take the edge off, it's
really
yeah, it's the best.
Man, you sound like you have a palate of a king.
Yeah, well, you just have to over time. You just
develop it.
Taste. Yeah.
So this is a Sauvignon Blanc. What is that compared to a Cabernet Sauvignon?
Cabernet is red. That's all I really know. I'm not big into wine. I'm not a wine guy.
Not a wine guy.
I know I don't like Malbec, so when I see that, I stay away. I don't like the sweeter wines.
Somehow I had this gut feeling though that I'm having a personal chef on the podcast, and he's gonna be a wine guy, right? That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Being a chef, being in wine, it's like hand in hand. It's like a cowboy and whiskey.
It is. You have your go-to. So like if I'm cooking, I'll use like a Chardonnay, the Pinot Grigio. I don't really do a lot of cooking with the red, just because I like the light flavor of the white. So
really?
Yeah.
Well, right on, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We haven't even done that yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Carl, local chef here in the Wichita area. And I've been doing like a whole bunch of stuff. So the whole idea is just like getting my name out there, promoting myself.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of meal prep. That was like the main flex. That's how it started, was with doing the meal prep.
Did it start doing meal prep for yourself or for other people?
No, not at all. I was just working at a restaurant. I was chopping stuff up, and I was like, I could probably get people to pay me to do this for them, and I could make more money doing that than just working the 9 to 5. I was like, fuck it, I'll just give it a shot. And so I started doing like research, looking into it, and there wasn't a whole lot. And you would see like cool videos of people cooking for like athletes and like
on like Instagram or whatever.
Yeah. But not exactly completely relatable to like myself, for example.
So you started out at a restaurant. Let's begin there real quick. What got you into cooking, first of all?
Okay, very cool. So, I grew up in Halstead, and I graduated from high school there in 2007. After I graduated, I think I hung out for a year, and then I went to California to pursue like a career in film. And so I'm out in California. We're having a really good time, and we lived in this really cool spot between Newport Beach and Costa Mesa. So it was a super rich town, and then just kind of like a normal place. Like they would film MTV, like little shows would just be
popping up all over the place,
man. And some family stuff brought us back home. Me and my friend, we went out there together, and like we went out to California. Right, so I went a few years earlier with my uncle, and he took us to see the World Series, right, and took us to like Disneyland. Me and my mother, and we had a great time. Really cool house. He was doing really good, doing something with like refinancing mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, he's like, hey, if you want to come back, just let me know. I was like, sure, yeah. So I remember like before graduation, I called him up. I was like, hey, is it cool if I come out there with a friend and we just live with you to go to film school? And he's kind of like, short notice, but okay, I'll do it.
This is a friend that wanted to do film with you?
Yeah. And one of my best friends. And so I have the idea that he's living lavish because that was my last thing
right
out there. So we get out there and then, like all his money and his whole situation's gone because he got addicted to gambling and methamphetamines and whatnot. And
oh man.
so like we get there and we're just staying in this kind of apartment that's kind of like a church funded halfway house. So there's tons of dudes and I was like, oh, this isn't. My friend's like, bro, what the fuck is
kind
this?
of a weird look.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird vibe. But we had a lot of fun out there. And so we can move back, and I'm in Bentley, Kansas. Are you familiar with that town?
I think so. Do they have the airstrip up there with the bar and grill? Or am I thinking of a different? Am I
that
thinking
might be
of
Hutch. I think. I don't know. Honestly,
Bentley?
I don't know.
Am I thinking of Benton?
Might be Benton. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I'm sorry to people that live there.
That's probably okay. I don't know how many people even live there.
But anyways, you're in Bentley.
I'm in Bentley, and I don't have a car. I don't have anything.
You don't own a Bentley.
No, I don't own a Bentley.
You're in Bentley.
I wouldn't even own a Bentley. I think I'd do like either I would do the Volkswagen Rabbit, that convertible car. That's
okay.
That's really. I
Yeah,
think
I've
that'd be cool,
those.
souped up, or like an older, maybe '90s BMW, '80s, '90s BMW, the ones with like the flat front edge.
So when you're cooking for famous people someday, you're not going to be buying a Bentley.
It's just not my style.
It's not you.
Yeah, I'd rather do like kind of like a sporty race, like just soup it up and then go race it around town.
Oh, right on, man.
I think it'd be kind of
yeah.
fun.
That fits a chef a little bit more, honestly.
Yeah, because I don't know, because you're in the hot kitchen, knives. You get pissed, and it's like you have a knife, and you could do anything you want. Shit could just explode.
You
just
could,
like
yeah,
that. Yeah, but nothing.
You could go off on somebody.
It doesn't really happen like that.
Anyways,
we're in Bentley. They have a restaurant that opens. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go be a cook there. So I go, and the lady's like, no, you can be a waiter. And then I was like, okay. So then I waited tables, saved up enough money, bought a car.
You decide you're going to be a cook there. At this point in your life, had you ever cooked much, or have you experimented with cooking at all, or did you just decide I'm going to do that?
I just decided I was like, this looks like fun.
This looks like fun.
I watched Iron Chef a lot growing up as a kid.
Okay,
that was cool. And it was like really the only option. Like it's like that was the only job in Bentley. So I was like, well, I guess this is what we're doing.
We'll do that. That's kind of how Anthony Bourdain got his start. Is when he was in Provincetown, I think it was. He decided this is all I can really do at the moment, so I'm going to go work as a line cook.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun gig, man.
Yeah. So that happened, and then what? You got the job.
I got the job. Worked there as a waiter. Had a lot of fun. Moved to Wichita. Then I went to work for this family, and the Tubios. They had Piccadilly, which most people, I don't really know if they know about Piccadilly. They might know about the most recent restaurant, Two Olives, or their brother's business, Bagatelle. But back in like the '90s, it was the heyday, man. Like if you were, they had another place called Chelsea's, and like the who's of the who's. Like it was the spot to be in. It was like, I guess, the first restaurant in Wichita to have foreigners really kind of interact with the local customers. So you could go in and you would hear someone with an accent. It wasn't just like,
you'd be like, whoa, this guy's not from Kansas.
Exactly. So it was an experience in the cultural food and whatnot. So they got really popular. And
what kind of food was it?
Yeah, it was all sorts of stuff.
It was just a combination of a bunch of cultures.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it really was.
Okay.
And so I come from Halstead, where there's like 3 Mexicans, maybe a black kid, and I go work for this family, and there's like every dialect is the first time I've heard Arabic, Chinese, French, all these different languages. It was really cool, a lot of culture in the restaurants. And then after that, it was just like that was it. I just worked in there for the time just flew by. You're having fun. Next thing you know, you're like, oh man.
And you were still a waiter?
I was a waiter for a long time. Then I switched over to cooking.
Okay, so they approached you and they asked if you'd be interested, or did you want to?
I just started helping where the restaurant I was at was in the art museum, like the Wichita Art Museum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was a really cool spot. And I worked with the chef Gilberto. And he didn't speak much. He spoke pretty good English. Mm-hmm. And so in the mornings I just go help him. We just dick around the kitchen. And then I was like, this is actually really fun because you're moving quick. You have all these things you have to do.
It is a fast-paced job, isn't it, in the kitchen?
If you fuck up, man, like the people are gonna be pissed, and everyone's gonna know you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, and if you do, then it just kind of goes down. Or it's a very hard uphill battle to kind of like recenter yourself, get back to focus.
But you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun to you.
That's a
lot.
Just
being
of fun.
Stressed out like that. And
well, it's not really stressed
because tickets coming at you.
Once you develop the movement, then you're just like going around stunting, and
it's just so there's just a flow to it that you have to get down on you.
Then you can just kind of go through.
So you have tickets flying in, people taking orders, and you're back there doing what? Are you doing a specific thing, or are you working a line where you're doing all sorts of different stuff?
Most of the time, like the team setup, like each person will do
Each person has their specialty?
special thing. Yeah, like one person was going to only do the sandwiches. One guy like does this and this. And
What was your first job back in the kitchen?
my first job back in the kitchen? I think just prep.
Just prep?
Just prep. I didn't work the line for a while.
Just cut up a bunch of veggies and stuff
Yeah.
and get them
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
And you loved it?
Sometimes it was really monotonous and it wasn't super fun, but just the camaraderie. I think you find that in a lot of other
A lot of other workforces
Yeah.
out there where you get a group together and it's almost like a brotherhood or
Exactly.
whatever,
Yeah.
and and you guys talk shit on each other and you're in a high stress environment.
It's really cool. Yeah, go ahead.
I get it. No.
Yeah. Each restaurant carries its own little spirit. So like sometimes you get with like a rowdy bunch or sometimes you don't. Everyone's really nice and it's like a different vibe. I used to do a lot of weddings downtown, and this was maybe back in like 2011, 12, 13. And so I'd be right downtown, and I remember we would take breaks and we can go out to the back. We'd open the door and it would be right onto a meat street, and it was a pretty busy street. So you just got there and chill, and you would hear all the loud music, see all the girls, see all the guys, see all the cars driving by. It was a really cool environment, and it's just I like the big city vibe, even though Wichita's not a big city, but
Sure, yeah.
But,
compared to Halstead, it is.
yeah, it is.
So you just like the nightlife, basically. Then almost.
Yeah.
You're just, and I feel like a lot of chefs are like that too, where you just be in high stress environment, work hard, play hard, get out after work, and it's dark, nighttime.
Yeah.
Because your hours too, as a chef, at least when you worked for a restaurant, were always late nights, right?
Well,
Or was
I only worked a couple of restaurants that were late night. So yeah, you are correct. And then I did like a couple like lunch. So it wasn't late night. Yeah, like maybe 2 or 3. And
Which that's a totally different crowd too, right?
It
The
really
lunch
is.
crowd
It's like
versus
grandma
the-
and grandpa, and everyone's really sweet. Everyone's pulling your hair.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, man. So where did you bridge it between personal chef and working in a restaurant? You did that for a long time, and then at some point you decided you're going to do it on your own?
Yeah, like I got into it trying to sell insurance for a while. I had a lot of fun doing that. So I was doing like door-to-door stuff, making a lot of phone calls, going around talking to people and whatnot. And you have to drive your own momentum when you do that kind of a deal. And so it didn't really work out. It didn't pan out for me. I think it was just because like I didn't like pushing it on people so much. There's a lot of, it's kind of weird. Like if you there's a lot of money to be made. Like I was working with people who were making like $9,000 a week. And I was just like, wow.
God damn.
This person was like 21. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make $200,000 this year. I'm just like, are you kidding me? About fucking
That's
wild
it?
money, bro. That was what?
Are
you
That's
kidding
it?
me?
I'm getting out. $200K?
But
But you have to be in people's faces all the time and piss some people off.
you just have that personality type, and that's not my job.
That's not who you are.
Yeah, I'm not against them. They're great people.
No, I'm not against anybody either, but I feel you.
Yeah.
And that's why this is kind of a special episode for me too, because your world is something that I love. Like that's another hobby
Really?
of mine outside of podcasting. I love cooking. That's one of my favorite things to do in the world. Grabbing a good bottle of wine, put on a podcast or some music and
Yeah,
just
whatever.
cooking something, I love it.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite things
Especially
ever in the
if
world.
you're like whining and dining a girl, and you have like a dish that you have in your pocket that you know is really good, and like even when you taste it, you're just like, wow, this is good, and she's just like, wow, this is
Wow.
good. And you're like, hey.
And the whole time you're taste testing it, you're like, damn, this is gonna
This is good.
this is gonna hit it.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. No, that's my world, dude. I love that shit.
Have you ever thought of just picking up a side gig?
I haven't.
It's fun, like just like going to like be like, hey, I can work like once. The restaurants are hiring like crazy. You meet a lot. It's more just for like social. Just meet you.
Just meeting a bunch of people and
yeah,
doing
and
it?
you'd be like, hey, I do this podcast.
Yeah. I do this podcast. You want to cook with me for a little bit and maybe come on?
Maybe they even they introduce you to their parents are doing like wild shit or whatnot. You just
Yeah.
never know who you're gonna meet. Like very transient community, and
So that's a big part of it for you, is just meeting a big group of diverse people that you'd have never talked to before.
yeah, I'm pretty social.
Are you?
Yeah. So okay. So when I was thinking about how am I going to promote that I'm going to be on the podcast, I don't know if you. So what I ended up doing was just like taking pictures, and then like I went to the graveyard with my little brother, and we were like shooting pictures in the graveyard, and we had a lot of fun, and it was warm out, but the pictures, like from the camera, and when you try to upload it to Facebook story, it just looked like shit. So I just had to like redo it.
It doesn't look how you thought it would.
It didn't look
turn
how I
out.
thought it was gonna.
Yeah.
It's always crazy how what it is in your mind, and then like when you put it out in front of you, like,
Like, what the
sometimes you
hell?
have to, you have to refine it. And refine
There's a
it
bunch of
until
tricks that they use though too. If you're a photographer, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of fine tuning things.
Natural lighting.
It's not just taking a picture and like, wow, that's dynamite. You know,
set
It's-
the setting up.
yeah.
But I wanted to go downtown. I ended up going to my friend's wedding in Kansas City, which I fucking love Kansas City, man. Like anywhere you drive, it's like
I do too.
That's where I really like cars, because everywhere I was driving around there it was just like a racetrack. The car I
Yeah.
drive isn't very sporty, but still I got that vibe. I was like, this is really cool. You see the skyline, all the lights, the colors.
That's a big city for real.
Yeah,
Versus Wichita.
yeah, it was really cool. Do you go up there often at all? Are you familiar with the place at all?
Pretty familiar, yeah. So
Have you ever been? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. My sister and her husband live there, and my aunt and uncle actually live there too. So I'm up there quite a bit.
Really?
I love the place, dude.
Very
I love
cool.
it.
What side of what
And-
part of the was it I-75?
They actually do live on the Kansas side, both of them. So my sister lives down by. Where does she live? I'm gonna look bad saying this now. it's at one of the suburbs down south.
I'm not.
I can't even think. I can't even think of the suburb right now. My aunt and uncle live on State Line Road though, over in Leawood. If you know where that's at.
I know the word Leawood. I don't
Yeah.
know what the.
Where does my sister live? It's south. It's south of 400, so you're on I-35.
Okay.
Yeah, but shout out Kansas City.
Yeah,
it's a
cool
dope ass
spot.
city.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Green Lady at all?
No.
Okay, so I'm out on this bachelor party, and it's me, it's my friends, and this other guy. He's a really cool dude, right? But we go to this like German restaurant, really cool. I get this really great beet salad with like a spicy salsa or a spicy dressing. It's got like arugula. It was a little heavy on the blue cheese. Like I didn't need that much.
Yeah.
But it was still really good because they had the beets shaved. Like I think they were steamed. That was really it was a nice salad. Then I got like some fish or some shit.
It's
like that.
hilarious listening to a chef talk about what he got at a restaurant.
It's fun.
Like
man.
when I hear you right now, I'm like, this is totally a chef talking because you're like a little heavy on this, and then you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
the hardest part. Is it's so personal because like maybe someone's like, I didn't get enough of this cheese, and so
So-
like, when you're putting this food out, and like you don't even know because like, hey, this is me, and then I'm just giving it to you. Who knows how you're gonna react to it?
Exactly. It's crazy what food is to
Yeah.
some people, you know. Whereas a lot of people are just out there like, I'm gonna fuel up tonight and get my calorie count, and then I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like me and you, and especially you, like it's funny to hear you describe a salad like that you got at a restaurant. Are you like that everywhere you go? Where you're like, I wouldn't have done it like this. I would have done a little bit this differently.
I do.
know what I'm saying?
I do, but like when I do it, it's like it's no. I mean, I think all other chefs they get it. You know, it's like, well, everyone has their own style, their own take
Right.
on the dish.
Anyways, though, go back to your story. Sorry.
Okay, now I'm glad that you did that because now I can make it come.
It's just kind of funny hearing a chef talk about his meal. You know.
Well, I just wanted to say like there's this really cool jazz club called the Green Lady. So if you're up in Kansas City, check it out. It was fucking sweet, man. Like we walked, the guy was super drunk and he started yelling, this guy. So we were like at these bars and he'd be screaming and like we gotta get the fuck out of here, man. We're too much attention.
Yeah.
And so we walked by this building and my friend's like, hey, you wanna go in here? I was like, I don't know. But then the dude he like sobered up real quick. He's like, oh man, this is a great place. I've never played there. And it turns out he was a musician. He's a really cool dude. And we go in there and it was like all the lights were red. On the walls were these mirrors with these drapes. The tables were really low. The band was so loud. The talking was so loud. You could hear the band in the talking. It was just like this. It was super loud, but it was perfectly. It was really balanced. It was fucking awesome.
It was just a perfect atmosphere.
Yeah, it was super cool. Well, anyway, so like, that's what I did instead of doing what I wanted to do for the gig, which was I wanted to go downtown and like I have 10 pounds of sugar in my car. And I wanted to draw this pentagram on the like what do you call it, like the Riverwalk. I wanted to make a big pentacle so that people don't get upset too much. And I had like these oranges and whatnot. And I wanted to see if I could get people inside the pentacle and if they would take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would have worked in retrospect due to because it was kind of a chilly night, I believe. In Kansas City it was chilly. I don't know if it was here. And then he goes, hey, I'm going on this podcast. Check it out. And blah, blah, blah. Talking about witchcraft and cooking and all that jazz. But
So you're into witchcraft.
I did due to tamales. Due to tamales is where like the witchcraft thing came in. Like the witchcraft didn't happen natural.
You're gonna have to explain what that means to me because I
Okay.
don't know what that means.
That's totally cool because I was thinking about it too. Is like, it's how do you explain an idea that you don't really comprehend
Yeah.
to someone else who doesn't comprehend it either?
Mind if I break into this wine, by the way?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, tell me what that means.
All right. So if you are familiar with Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
think about an in aspect of witchcraft. This isn't like doing like summoning demons or casting charms or spells like that. This is more like a potions class, like Professor Snape's. Like this is what you would be in, right?
This is potion class.
And so here you have, we're gonna go back to the doppio, and you're just going through your day, and you're like, oh, I need a speed potion. So you go, they take these beans from the forest, they roast the beans, they crush in the beans, they push it through this hot water, and what you're left with is this really bitter, potent substance that, we drink, and we're just like, oh, it gives you a shit ton of energy. It's like, wow, it changes your state, right? So in a way, that's kind of like a potion.
Which is coffee, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like a really advanced potion for speed would be like methamphetamines.
Mm-hmm.
People are taking all these raw substances, creating this whole new process, and it's like, this will fuck you up for days. Like, you ain't gotta sleep, man.
It'll fuck you up for days.
Yeah.
And it'll make a great TV show.
It would. It did.
Breaking Bad.
It did. I didn't see it, but I heard a lot of good things.
Who, Heisenberg is an artist, by the way.
Is he the
He's
the
Walter
main guy?
White. Yeah. That's
in
an artist.
his real life?
Not in his real life.
You just
I
like
don't think.
like you mean like by him acting?
By him acting, yeah,
Yeah.
that's art,
For real.
right? Well, both of them are art. Doing the acting is art, but also if you're making meth that pure, you're an artist.
It is an art. Even the podcast, like everything you do is art. I mean, like look, they designed the fucking bottle.
True.
It's art. It's everywhere.
So that's the kind of witchcraft you're into is making something.
Yeah, I call it like culinary witchcraft. That's like the best way I can explain it.
Culinary witchcraft.
Culinary witchcraft.
I love it.
Thank you. So I bought some stuff to make some tamales. I didn't really know which direction to go into making the tamales, right? I never made them before. So this lady was like, hey, if you make some tamales, I'll make you some tamales too, and we can trade. I was like, cool. So we'll trade trading.
Uh-huh.
So before I was doing some research into making tamales. So basically my research was, let's look up a bunch of YouTube videos, and it got me down to where I was watching these like abuelas in what I presume would be Mexico. Like they're out in the woods, like it's basically the jungle. And they have this outside kitchen, and she would go from her kitchen into the forest and like get her ingredients, bring them back, and then she would prepare this dish that you would eat, and you just make you feel good, basically.
All from scratch.
All from scratch. So like she gets the corn and she grinds it down.
Grinds it down into
I
cornmeal.
think it's called like nixtamalization or something. Don't quote me on that. And yeah, she makes the tamales. And when I saw her go into the forest, like gather the ingredients, her outside kitchen was just kind of like made out of stone, really, I don't know, not modern by any means. Like it was lit by fire.
No, it's like there's a word for that. It's like not caveman style.
Backwoods, we'll say.
Backwoods.
Yeah. Really, it's a really cool kitchen. Like if you were to put like a modern touch on it, Jamie Oliver would be like all over that, right?
But it's very rustic, and it looks like it belongs in the middle of the woods.
Exactly.
Where somebody would do something like that. Yeah.
And if you notice, like when you see witches and whatnot, they're always kind of around a cauldron, or they're doing some kind of brew. And then I was kind of like, well, you know what? I guess in a way, like when you're cooking, you are kind of like practicing this kind of like witchcraft. Like imagine that you're at home, you're a kid. I mean, we'll say like you're 7, right? You're like, oh, you have a tummy ache, and your grandma's like, oh, hey, that means if you have a tummy ache, she starts making her, we'll say like chicken noodle soup, right? Mm-hmm. So in our culture, we just say, oh, it's chicken noodle soup. When you get sick, you eat chicken noodle soup. But you could also look at it from the perspective as like, when you're sick, your grandma makes this like healing potion.
Healing potion for
which
you.
is a chicken noodle soup. You take it, and it's like, oh, and you start feeling better and whatnot. So it's not exactly like...
That's a cool perspective.
Yeah.
So that's just looking at the world in a different way completely then,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Is it's all a potion. I mean, you look at this Fat Tire beer, shout out New Belgium Brewing Company. They're making a potion for us to be a little bit more social, a little bit more talkative, right?
Yeah.
That beer is a potion.
They're letting it stew in these
at the
big
end of the day.
cauldrons or pots and whatnot. And
Which, I had a beer brewer on the podcast a while back, and he told me that the way that they... Like women used to be the main brewers back in the day. Yeah.
Did he say like what back in the day, like what region of the world?
He didn't. I'm assuming it was overseas, not in this country. Yeah. But he did say that the classic witch look that you see where they're stirring in a cauldron was women brewing beer.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. That's pretty rad.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but he told me that, and I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense.
It's
actually,
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun thought.
But I love that perspective that you're talking about, where that's a potion.
Yeah.
So this is what you incorporate in everything that you do too. All of your cooking.
I wouldn't say it like that. It's just something like I kind of like I have fun thinking on every now and then.
Just something you're into, and you just think about.
Yeah, I
like,
just think about it. Yeah.
That's very cool, though. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
when
the
you look
food-
at it that
yeah.
way, and when you look at food, and when it comes from farm to table, people always like to say that now. Farm to table. It's interesting to see that people will take anything from out in nature, and when you see it from the cow all the way to the steak on your plate, it really changes your perspective versus just getting the Schwan man to drop you off a slab of meat, you know.
Did you ever do Schwans?
I didn't.
I mean, either.
I didn't.
Your grandma and grandpa?
But I think my grandma and grandpa did, yeah. And I always saw the Schwan man driving around.
He's still out there, man. He's still doing his thing.
Is he? Yeah. One day I'm going to have him on here. Is there just one Schwan man?
I don't know.
Maybe it's Mr. Schwan.
Mr. Swan.
So how does that all tie into what you do?
How does it tie into what I do? I cook food. I guess that's the way it ties in. You know, I like cooking food. I like doing like, since it's like I label it as like a personal chef, I don't want to label it as like a personal chef business. So like if you look at it from like the perspective of like you have a business or you're an artist, right? So if you're in a business, there's things that are expected from you. Like as soon as you say, oh, it's a business, you know, like you got to do like the generic route. Like everyone's going to go basically do the same thing. They're going to promote their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The main focus of business is to generate an income and to grow, right? And so, you know, you got to present your suit and tie kind of aspect and prim and proper. Whereas if you're an artist, you just say fuck it, everything and just do what you want. Like you don't care.
That's
so
a good point.
You have a lot more freedom when you're an artist. So that way you're not so stressed. It's like people come to me, hey, we do this, hey, we do that. And I'm like, nah, I don't really want to, I don't care. And they're like, we'll give you this much money. It's like, it's not even something I want to do. You know, like,
right.
You make us box on this? Not really. That's not my thing.
I don't want to do that.
And it's like, it's cool to work with a person like one-on-one, like really just get like an experience down, because it is part of the food, partly food, but it's also about like the connection. It's like the personal connection, right? And being the artist, besides being the business, when you do the business, you have to like play the volume game with food. It's like, how much can I sell? How much can I sell?
How much can I get out of this? What's my return on investment?
Yeah, and then so like all of a sudden, like now people are starting to use like, not now, like it's not all of a sudden either, but people use like cheaper ingredients just to increase their profit return. Whereas like I rather,
it grows into something gross that people look at and they're like, that's just disgusting. They're just looking at more return on investment. How do we increase profits? They have these meetings where they invite all the employees and they're like, how can we do better?
Yeah.
How can we increase volume here? How can we, you know, and that's just, that's when it gets gross and it's not fun and it's not art.
Like the, have you seen this? I gotta show you this. Do you know about that picture that's on the Douglas downtown?
I don't.
It's right there. Do you know where the pop-up park was?
Yeah, their old urban pop-up park. Yeah. I used to work right next to it.
So there was like a panel of artwork that got put up, and this was one of the pictures. Oops. Hello. Right there on Douglas.
Okay. I don't know if we can see that or not. I want the camera to see that.
I don't know. Yeah. You can.
I don't know if you can see that. Maybe.
It's right there on Douglas Street, man. No joke.
Yeah.
I drove by and I saw it and I was like, ain't no fucking way. And it's sure as shit.
Hey, do you want a glass for some wine, man?
Yeah, sure.
You brought the wine. Let's drink it up. So, anyways, you're talking about the personal connection with the people that you work for, so your clients. Tell me about who you work for. When you call yourself a personal chef, are you doing this for a family or a single person or what?
It's actually, I've done quite a bit of different things. Like I've cooked for a family, and I'd make them like a few meals, and then it's kind of like a reheat deal. Like they had a lot of kids, they're very busy. They want one less thing to worry about on their plate. So that's where the meal prep thing came in. And then I had a lady, sometimes I'll just reach out to people. If I ever see people, they'll be like, hey, does anybody do this? Anything do this? I'll pop up in the DM and be like, hey, sometimes I don't want to be right there on Facebook because then there's too many fucking questions.
Right. And you don't want to submit ads and stuff because then people just be like, oh, who the hell is this? And what is this?
What do you mean?
You know, if you're just blasting everything out to everybody all at once.
That's not the way I want. Who you know, as a fucking spammer? No, fuck that.
Exactly, yeah.
And I did I cooked for a vegan bodybuilder. That was really cool.
A vegan bodybuilder?
Vegan bodybuilder. I like the vegan diets. I have nothing against it.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're not a vegan yourself, though?
I'm not a vegan myself, but if I have the opportunity, like sometimes I just don't want to eat meat, so I just say, fuck it. Have you seen, I don't know if there's any science to this, right? But I watched this documentary. I can't even remember what the name of it is, because she's like, oh, I watched this. And I was like, tell me a little bit about who you are. Tell me a little bit like what you're doing.
Was it What the Health?
No, I don't think it was What the Health. There was a scene where like they have these athletes and they're like, hey, this is your blood flow and this is like this. And it talked about like your erection. And it was like, hey, vegan diet's it's better for like sexual health. And I was like, I'm all about that shit. So
yeah, I'm in.
I'm in. And
so you're one of those guys that'll buy the Extends pills and as soon as you see a commercial for hard, long erections.
No, not at all, because I don't need any pills. So.
Is the vegan diet actually better for erections, though?
The whole idea is like it just makes the blood circulate easier. Which
Does it?
Yeah, who knows? But if you eat vegan, like if you can get it down, like I think a lot of people are just get too commercial with it, where they're buying like a bunch of like pre-packaged products rather than just like getting fruits and veg. So you can actually get a lot of good flavors, a lot of spice, a lot of sweet. And
how do you feel about vegan meals though that want to mimic meat meals?
So
is that a good thing?
I mean, I think some people just kind of want that. Maybe they want like an alternative. To me, that's not what I don't know. Like
to me, if you're going to be a vegan, why would you want to mimic a meat meal?
I
right?
agree. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Why don't you get creative and make something amazing that's vegan,
completely original,
and not like, oh, I want this to taste just like a Whopper.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. I agree with you. Yeah. Like you don't want to go get like a vegan cream cheese. Like it's just like don't even get cream cheese because it's
don't even eat it. Yeah.
Even eat it. Yeah.
Why are you trying to mimic dairy if it's
exactly.
nasty?
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a dairy fiend. I think I might be an addict.
Really? Do you drink raw milk at all?
I don't.
It's pretty good, man.
I would love to though. I need to start getting into raw milk.
There's a lot of great farms out in the Yoder area.
Are there? Yeah. Shout out to Yoder, dude.
Yeah.
All the Amish people up there.
They're actually really cool.
Are they?
It's a different style of life. It's not my favorite. They do a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's.
It's not my style.
It's too much work, man. Like I don't want to be sitting on a tractor all day and doing all that jazz. But when you get like the raw milk, you get like the taste of the seasons. You can really taste like sometimes in the spring it's really sweet because of the fresh grass, and then it kind of starts to mellow out towards the fall and
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you drink raw milk yourself?
Every now and then I do. I don't drink a lot of like cow milk. I'll do goat milk every now and then. I do like cow milk, but it kind of slows my digestion down, so I don't really fuck
Does
with
it?
Yeah.
But you'll make vegan meals and you'll get creative with it and make really good ones that you enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So like if I can't eat it, then I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna put it out there.
Yeah. There's no way. Ain't no way.
So tell me about the connection that you have with a person when you make a good meal, and you know they're gonna experience that and be like, wow.
Okay, so for that, like I've done a couple like house parties. I used to do a meal prep for this family, and I would prep them 2 meals, and I would cook them lunch. And anytime you cook food for somebody, or like anytime you do anything for somebody and you're trying to get feedback, like the last thing you want to do is like ask, like, how is everything tasting? Like if you have to ask, then you've missed the mark, you know?
You don't want to walk up to everybody and be like, what do you think of that?
Exactly.
What do you think? How'd you like that?
Yeah. And there's a line to where you know that it's the truth. Like there are things that people can't really fake very much. There's there's these reactions, and not only are there the reactions at the table, but at the end when you're like washing the dishes and leaving, like the reaction you get tells you how good of a meal you are. And like one of the things is like just silence is when people are just like, wow, they're not like, oh my gosh, this is so good. They're just like, wow, they're taken aback, and that's what you're kind of going for. You wanna steal the hearts.
That's interesting.
And it's not like it's just like you want them to feel really calm, really relaxed. You're just like, wow, man. You don't even want them to be thinking about you. Like they've forgotten about you. Maybe they even have forgotten about the food.
They've forgotten about what they're even doing.
They're just like,
night.
wow,
they're just like, holy shit,
this is so good. Somewhere else. Yeah, you stop time for them in a way.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people that do cook for people want that crazy reaction, like, holy shit, this blew my socks off tonight. Yeah. You know? I feel that way sometimes too when I'm cooking for like a party or I have friends over or whatever, and you want people to just be like, oh man, this is the best thing I've ever had. But in reality, silence is the best.
It's nice.
It's the best reaction.
Yeah. It depends. Like everyone's unique. You can't say like, you don't want to put the reaction into a box and be like, oh, you weren't silent, so this must not have been good. But
Do you look for reactions when you cook a meal? Are you standing there like kind of waiting for it? Or do you look around? Or do you just kind of put it out there and just ghost it and just say that's it?
It tastes good. If it tastes good to me, that's the best. If I feel comfortable with it, that's the best I can do. I really have no way of interpreting like how they're going to react, because like maybe their acid level, there's like, well, this is too acidic, or this isn't salty enough, or you just do what you feel is the best and you put it out there and you let the world, just like hopefully not tear at you. So.
What's your favorite meal to cook for people?
My favorite meal to cook for people. I like making pasta, and so I have like a fettuccine. This one lady asked me to make her fettuccine Alfredo, so I did, and it came out fucking amazing. And like I do, like I put basil in it, and like my secret ingredient is lemon juice. So at the very end, you have you have your sauce, and like it's very heavy, but when you add that lemon juice, it takes it to a whole nother level. So no one does that. So when they eat that, they're just like, whoa, this is like, wow.
Bit of an acid kick to it.
It changes the whole game, man.
Does it?
It changes the whole game.
Really?
Yeah. Ain't no joke.
What can you all use that on?
What?
Lemon juice.
Yeah, fucking everything, man. Put on
Anything?
Yeah.
So pasta. Tell me what you know about pasta. What do you do about pasta? Where are you at with pasta?
I just make it. I have like a New York Times. I think it's a New York Times recipe. So the only thing I put my special twist on it is like I'll take a pot and say like I'll take a whole clove of garlic and I'll undress it. I'll put it in the pot. It's like just a tiny little sauce pot, and I'll fill it with olive oil just to where the garlic cloves start to float, and then I'll just slowly turn it on, get it high to where it starts to fry the garlic. Once it turns like a nice golden brown, just take it off the heat, let it sit, pull the garlic out, and then you have this really nice garlic oil, and it's fucking delicious, man. So I'll put that into the pasta. It's really good. And what is interesting is like, if for me anyways, and I'm like a super experienced pasta maker by any means. The wetter the dough, like the nicer the dough feels when you're working it, the harder it's going to be to put through the roller. The harder the dough is, like the more work you put into it.
Yeah, the more you have to knead it and everything.
If the dough is a little drier, it goes through the pasta roller easier because it's a little bit more dry. It doesn't stick to the.
Do you have your own pasta roller then that you use?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it makes like fettuccine and spaghetti, and you can do like sheets. You can make sheets of pasta if you want to make like ravioli. It's just like a basic. You can get it like online.
Pasta is one of those things too, where people gorge themselves on, and they love a good pasta.
Yeah, and you can like look at Olive Garden. It's total bullshit, man. Like you're paying like $18, $19 for just some noodles, some sauce, and some little bit of meat.
And it costs nothing to make that, probably, does it?
Nothing to make it, man. They probably cost them like $1. Maybe $2, respectively.
How did you learn how to do all this? When you're talking about making pasta and when you make a nice garlic oil, like where did you learn all of that?
Over time, you just like start seeing the different techniques and how they work, and you're just like, oh, if I want to do that, then I'm going to do this. If I want to make this, these are the certain techniques that I have to use to get the result that I want. And once you have that in your arsenal, then you're just like,
then you can use it for anything and you can make your own creations out of all that.
Exactly. Obviously,
so having a good base is really important, where you learn all those little techniques, and then you can make it however you want to after that.
And it just takes time. That's it.
Trial and error.
Yeah. That's why the culinary school is so expensive, because they make you pay for all the ingredients. So that.
Do they really?
I haven't been to culinary school, but I have plenty of friends who have, and it's expensive because you have to pay for the ingredients. But then you get to take it home. If you do good, you get to take it home and feed your family and whatnot. Yeah. If you do bad, then nobody's happy about that.
When you're in culinary school, you're buying everything. So if they say we're doing spaghetti this week, I want you to make the best spaghetti you can, you have to buy all that yourself or make the pasta yourself?
Yeah, I would assume so. I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's actually not that expensive. It's like a dozen eggs, unless you can get like the 6-pack, and then it's like a $5 bag of flour, and you're basically good to go. You can pitch in 50 cents, and you guys can all pull a bottle of olive oil or something.
I think we started this conversation by me asking you, like, what's your favorite dish to make? Is there a specific one?
The dishes that there is not a specific one. It just flows with the season. Right now, I've kind of been on a pad thai kick, so I make a lot of pad thai.
Pad thai,
noodles. Yeah,
that's good shit.
So I went to this Mexican mart on 21st Street. I can't remember the name of it. It's new. Have you ever been to Thai Bin on 21st in Amidon?
I haven't.
It's a fucking cool place, man. Just go there, and like, if you can go there to when it's really busy, and they have this like Vietnamese or Thai. I think it's Thai, obviously Thai Bin. These Thai soap opera music playing. It's like you're stepping into a whole new world, man. Like English might be the third or fourth language.
It's an Asian market?
Uh-huh.
Right. That is a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
And it's a whole new section of things you've never seen before in your life, probably,
exactly,
at the normal supermarket.
Smells, the food, and there's not a lot of English. It's super cool. So just a catty corner to that is this new Mexican mart. And one of the essential parts of pad thai is this thing called a tamarind paste, right?
Tamarind paste?
Tamarind paste. So like if you go to a Mexican mart, you'll see these things, and they're like these little pods, and they have like a big seed in it, right? You take the shell off, you boil some water, you put the pods into this hot water, and let it sit, and then you just like work, and you get this gelatinous substance off of these seeds. You throw the seeds away, and then you kind of like reduce the basically tamarind paste, and you get a really nice sour and spicy kick from when you put your.
And that's one of the key flavors you're getting off of a pad thai.
Yeah, I think so. That's one of my favorite. I mean, if you can't taste a tamarind in a pad thai, fuck off. That's all I'm gonna say.
A lot of people don't know they're tasting that, though. A lot of people like me, I order pad thai quite often if I go to a Thai place, and it's just fucking amazing. There's something about it. I'm like, what is that? What's different about these noodles? You can definitely taste a peanut taste.
Yeah,
right.
That's very familiar because like if you grow up white, peanut butter sandwich.
Peanut
like
butter sandwich, yeah. I saw a funny Reddit post the other day, and some person was like, "Just because you mix peanut butter in with your noodles doesn't mean it's a Thai dish." You know. Or just because you dump peanut butter in a jar or in a little dish doesn't mean that it's satay.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that?
I think it's satay.
Satay, yeah.
Do you know of Thai House on West Street?
Oh yes,
I love that
place.
I love that business model. Like the idea, like if I had my own shop, I think it would be similar to that. I would extend the bar a little bit so you could have a little bit more indoor seating, but mostly just like you're just.
But it's minimal indoor seating. It's mainly you just come get what you want and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Harrison Ford ate there too.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. And there's another place down south too that I ate it fairly often, but they're very known for their curries. It's called Chiang Mai Thai.
I've never been.
Very good.
Where's it at?
It's way down south. It's by Spirit. I want to say it's on like
with that area.
31st maybe.
Wow.
I don't even know.
That's
I just
cool,
know how to
though.
get there. But yeah, the curry's phenomenal, out of this
curry.
world. And there's something to it. Maybe it's those seeds. Maybe it's something different that I don't know about. But
Maybe
I'm tasting
it's MSG.
something.
I don't know.
Maybe it's MSG. What's your opinion on MSG?
I don't care.
You don't
Put
care.
it in there, whatever. It's no big deal to me.
So describe a daily life. Give me a scene in your daily life.
Okay, so are you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk at all? Gary
No.
B? He's like like an entrepreneur kind of guy. He promotes, I don't know, like doing your own shit. I'm not big on the entrepreneur idea or concept. Fuck mass producing all your shit. I mean, like mass production has given us Walmart, and so like I like keeping it small because it's more artisan. Anyways,
I do too.
Most of the stuff takes place on the weekend, so I have like maybe 4 days of chill, and then I have like the next 3 days are just straight action. And so usually
All through the weekend.
Typically that's when everything happens. Nothing really happened, and then I'll deliver Sunday, Monday, and then
That's fairly normal for a chef, though, right?
yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are doing. Some people are cooking on boats. Some people are just cooking for a family on the coast.
That's
There's
true.
So many wild shit you can do out there. Like a live-in chef. People doing like B&Bs and whatnot.
Somebody that's just like dedicated to this household. I'm just going to make them meals, and they're
Yeah.
totally rich, and they're paying me a big salary.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's not. I don't know. It'd be kind of a fun experience. But then usually I get my shopping list, and I'll like section out the shopping list and whatnot. I like getting blitzed and going to the store. Like that's my favorite fucking thing to do.
Getting blitzed and going to the store?
Going shopping, man. Like I'll just spend just like looking through the mango, like which one is the best and how many do I need for this recipe. The big thing about cooking is like just how much do you need to get the portion size right. And once you get that down and you got your technique, then you're good to go. Like once you know how to make a good sauce, how to cook your proteins, your vegetables. Once you dial in on the portion size, then you can really get your budget tight, and then you rock and roll. So then I bought a second fridge, and I put all my stuff in the fridge, and then I have a cook day, and I just like cook all day. And then I package it up and I
for all of your clients. You're cooking all day long, and that's your day that you make food for everybody that's a customer to you.
Yeah, so like the work week is kind of like crunched into a few days. It can be kind of stressful, especially like there was a time where I was like doing like these custom menus for people, and it was driving me fucking nuts, man, because it's like there's so much like these little details because you don't want to leave something out because you feel really vulnerable. You don't want because your name's on the line, man. You don't want to put something out there and be like, hey, yo, this was total shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
You want to put your heart into it every time. That's how you feel.
Yeah. So the big thing is I don't like to be rushed. Like I'll take my time. Like sometimes I won't finish a project till like 2 a.m. The most recent project I did was I made these. This lady asked for these breakfast burritos. It's a friend of mine, and she's like, hey, yada yada, can you make these breakfast burritos? Like, yeah, what kind of thing do you want? She told me, and so I made her. Since I'm making burritos, I was making tortillas, and I made red, white, and green tortillas. So I used spinach, made the green ones, and I used the guajillo chiles to make the red. Beautiful fucking color, man. Beautiful color.
Nailed it.
And the hardest part about making the breakfast burritos is like you're making all these tortillas, and you gotta roll them all out, and like, so you can be up pretty late at night and just chilling. You get your music on, just vibing, taking your breaks, and rocking it out.
That's my shit, though.
Yeah,
I love that.
Just you're in your zone,
That's one of the best things ever to me. That's like I said earlier, I'm not a good cook by any means, but that's one of my favorite things to do is to come home, put on some music, drink some wine, drink some liquor, whatever it is, and just cook and try something new. And I've been getting into Indian cooking lately and curries, but
No way, really?
yeah, and I feel you when you're talking about that. I've never made tortillas.
Have you experimented with naan at all?
I've not. No. Normally I'll buy the naan. Right now I'm just focused on the curry.
Oh yeah, do.
And I've been having great success with that. I love that shit. I'm all about it. And the spices too are a big one.
Yeah.
And finding the right spices.
Yeah.
And you said earlier the guajiros, is that what they're called?
Guajillo chiles.
Are those the dried ones that are big red? Those are used in al pastor, right?
Al pastor. I've never made al pastor. When I think of al pastor, I know it's pineapples is what I think of.
Pineapples.
Can it be in there? Yeah, could be. Could be like guajillo, kind of like a powder.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it because.
Do you have a favorite culture or ethnicity that you like cooking for the most?
I do. It's like I want to plan this trip, right? So there's this thing called a metate. Are you familiar with metate at all?
Metate?
Metate. And it's like the square thing. It's maybe a little bit bigger than this guy right here. I'll show you. So you have, imagine this was a stone.
This little beer case
This
here.
beer case is a stone. But we're going to say it's a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like a separate stone. You put your shit on the metate, and then you grind it out. And it takes the...
What are you grinding? Corn?
Anything.
Anything?
Anything. And you turn it into like a powder. So like the texture you get is different than if you were to put something in a food processor. And so I was trying to do some research, thinking about, where I want to go to get a metate. I asked around to my friends and family on Facebook. I was like, hey, does anyone know where I can get one of these things? And everyone's like, no, you can't get them here in town. They're not, you can't go around. I went everywhere looking. I even asked like the people in the Mexican shops, like on El Tianguis on 13th. And he's like, no, you probably won't be able to find one here. Maybe if you go to Oklahoma, maybe if you go to Texas. But then I was like, I don't really want to go to Oklahoma. I don't really want to go to Texas. I love the states, but I was like, I want something more, because I wanted to go to the jungle. So I'm looking for a side gig, and this guy I know, this waiter's like, hey man, come apply here. You'll get the job. I know you might know the chef, blah, blah, blah. So I talked to this guy. I do know the chef, and he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine, the chef Preston down at the Sweet Spot. Great chef. This guy is fucking wild. Preston at the Sweet Spot, if you haven't get in
Spot,
on
that shit slaps.
And so I was telling him my story because I was like, hey, Preston? He's like, yeah, we work together, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, I'm trying to get some extra money. I want to go to Mexico City, and I want to get a metate. And he goes, a metate? He's like, no, you can't get that in Mexico City. He's like, if you want to get a metate, you got to go to Oaxaca. So if you would imagine that the cell phone is Mexico, and then like this is South America down here, like it's like pretty much down. It's fucking south,
way south,
right? And so my plan is to fly into Mexico City, chill in Mexico City for a while because it's a really cool city, right? I want to get like rollerblades. I don't know why. I wanted to bike at first, but now I was like, fuck, I'm going to do rollerblades. I see some guys on TikTok rollerblading in Mexico City. I'm like, this is fucking rad. I want to get some rollerblades. And spend some time in Mexico City. Take a bus to Oaxaca. It's actually really cheap to get to Mexico City. It's like $200 if you take a bus. And I'm all about putting more time into the game because the more time you have to spend with something, the more possibilities you can come to realize. There's more to it than if it's like, I don't want to do like a week trip because then you don't.
Well, you're not about rushing shit.
I don't want to rush shit.
That. Yeah. You're all about just making an experience out of it and get the most you can.
Yeah, because I could die from food poisoning. I'm fucking like 130 pounds, man. Like, you know how hard it is for me to put on weight? If I get sick, I'm done. If I start throwing up and
they never say, or they always say actually, never trust a skinny chef, right?
My friend Braden, he just said, he's like, don't trust any chef. We're all sketchy as fuck, right?
We're all a bunch of losers. I think the Mr. Bourdain said that the best, honestly. Have you read his book, Kitchen Confidential?
I read Kitchen Confidential.
Yeah. He's a savage, dude. He's one of my favorite people in the world.
He's a fun guy. He did jiu-jitsu. Have you done jiu-jitsu before?
I never have.
Dude, it's a lot of fun. I wasn't into it younger because I was like, I don't really want a bunch of dudes on me. I tried like a 3-day class, and it was really fucking fun, man. Putting people in chokehold, putting people in arm bars. I was like, this is my jam. It's expensive. I took my daughter to a jiu-jitsu class, and she was like, the whole time she would look at me and she'd be like, no, Dad, I want to do this. I know. I'd let her do the whole class. And by the end, when she actually got to like practice the technique, she's like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But okay, so I wanted to take a bus from Mexico City down to Oaxaca. I don't think you can fly into Oaxaca. It's kind of a mountainous area. I could be wrong. Get the metate. Maybe spend some time down there because the metate is mainly known for mole. And like you get these different sauces and whatnot.
Mole is the chocolate sauce that they use in Mexican cuisine. Is that right?
It's kind of like mole is kind of like the word curry. Because like you have curry and you have a bunch of spices underneath the curry, red, green, yellow, spicy, mulligatawny. So it's kind of the similar. Like there is one that has chocolate in it, and I wanted to get the metate. I wanted to buy a truck and then drive it back home. And then like, what if I could document the whole trip, and make a cookbook out of it? You know,
That's fucking awesome.
yeah. Just to be in the
is so
fucking
cool.
jungle eating mangoes all day. You kidding me? Mexican girls are pretty cute, bro.
Dude, I'm all about it. That is fucking awesome. Yeah. I love it. You're gonna do that, right? You better do it.
Eventually, yes.
You've already said
I'm getting
it.
there.
It's recorded now.
I have things planned. Like this is where I'm gonna go. This is the spot. Down in Oaxaca, they're also known for mezcal, like a tequila.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
I love where your mind's at on this.
Thank you.
Seriously. You're a unique chef. You're a unique type of cook. You have a different perspective on the world.
I appreciate it.
Have you realized that?
I'm just me. So
You're just you?
Yeah.
I love the way you look at things. It's not just a job to you. Food is not a job to you.
It's not a job. It's just like, fuck, man. There's like kids getting raped right now as we talk on this podcast. So like nothing really matters. They're like, oh, the kitchen. Yeah, maybe the kitchen people are a bunch of losers. Like everyone's a loser.
Everybody's a fucking loser. Everybody.
Like look at the world right now. Like we all go to Walmart. All right.
That was the biggest wake up call for every kid that grew up. Is that everybody around me that I thought was like somebody that had their head on their shoulders. It's all fake. It's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has a rough life. Don't get me wrong. It sucks, but we just make the best. We try to make the best experience we can. We're blessed. If you're in America, you're the 1%. So
true. Cheers to
that.
Cheers to you.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what else to ask on this. Is there what's your ultimate goal, I guess?
What's my ultimate goal? I guess food related. The ultimate goal, I think, in general, is just like get some way that you can make a nice amount of money where you don't have to work all the time. And people are like, oh, it's not real. It's like, I think it's real. I think you could do it.
If you were put in a position like that, though, let's say all of a sudden you inherited $10 million. You have enough to live. You have enough to be very, very comfortable. Invest that money a little bit. Are you still going to be cooking?
Yeah, because it's just something I like to do. I think a lot of people, have you ever heard the topic of like Elon Musk when he talks about like robots taking over all the jobs? People are like, oh my gosh.
Total automation of everything.
I'm so for that. Bring it on, man. Because like when you don't have to work these normal jobs, then that's a time for the artisan to flourish and people can actually pick up a craft and start like really fine tuning it, and we can just live life. You know, we don't have to go to the biggest.
That's the biggest argument for it, right? That's the biggest argument for universal basic income, is that we can all focus on making the world a better place, and people that are artistic like you and creative. They don't have to worry about the monotony of a daily job every day.
Yeah, fuck going to work, bro. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm glad there's people that do.
Yeah, me too.
You know, but I also really, really appreciate people like you that have their head in a different space. Like, you're making this an experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the idea. Is like is change the scene and setting, and like when you get so when you look at like restaurants, let's talk about like. Thai house, and then we'll talk about Chipotle. And like Chipotle can come in, and like Chipotle can design their whole building, right? So you can go into the building and you can have a unique experience because they're able to design it. Whereas Thai house, they're just renting a space in like a strip mall, so they're kind of limited, right?
Yeah.
So like sometimes you see a lot of buildings out there, and there's in strip malls. They don't really get the full. You're not really getting the full experience because they have to like adhere to the. Even just like the way the building looks, which kind of can throw off the vibe, you know?
Well, it's really not even their place. They're just there and they're just making their product, and people are coming to get what they're getting.
Okay, so going on that, what is your thought on malls? Do you ever go to the mall ever?
Like old school malls, like Town West, Town East, like walk through and shop?
Yeah.
There's a soft spot in my heart because I grew up in a mall, and I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cool feeling. It's a nostalgic feeling to walk through a mall and remember when everybody used to be there shopping and everything. But on the other hand, it doesn't make much sense anymore when you can order something on Amazon and get it in 2 days.
It's just kind of, I don't want to order anything. It's kind of, I get it. I get that. Some people during Corona didn't leave their house.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So like I was walking through the Hutch Mall. There's a lot of spaces, you know? I'm walking through the West Mall. A lot of spaces. It would be cool.
A lot of open spaces.
I don't know, obviously, a lot of like the logistics sides of it, price-wise and whatnot, but it'd be cool to see if more local people would be able to move into those spots and rejuvenate the mall with small business. So like you can move in and you could utilize the cooking space to make your own restaurant. You know,
rejuvenate the feeling people had when they would walk into a mall and be like, wow.
I fucking love that, man. Like when I was in Kansas City, I went to the mall, man. I love that. I got the massage from the Chinese lady. Fucking rocked my world, bro. It was the best thing.
Shit.
She was like, put my arm up like this. She put my leg up like that. I was like, okay, grandma. You do your thing.
Hell yeah. Do your thing, girl.
Man.
No, I get it, man. If we could revitalize that feeling, if you could get that feeling back where people walk into a mall and they're blown away, like every kid did when you were younger, especially our age. And
How
you
old
walk
are you?
in there. I'm 26.
26?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 33.
33?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, especially when you were a kid, because you're an old man, when you would walk
Almost.
into a place.
I was around with Blockbuster,
When we would walk into a place like that in like the late 90s or 2000s, it's just mind blowing. You're like, holy shit, look at all this stuff.
All the people running
There's
around.
everything.
It's
There's
super
candy
cool.
machines. There's a food court. There's any store I can ever dream of to get anything I want.
It's like the Carnival 24/7. So instead of like the
Yes.
state fair coming through, it's like you just go to the mall.
And now you walk in there and it's just like you said, you're like, wow, a bunch of empty spots. Like this place used to be popping. And I don't even know what it feels like to a kid now where they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, why are we even here, Dad?
Why are you bringing me to this empty warehouse? Why is there an Annie Ann's pretzel place over there?
I've had Annie Ann's in a while.
That stuff's good.
That is good. All right, what about you, man? Like, what are you doing outside? Like, outside the podcast, what kind of stuff do you do? You said you're in the Air Force?
I'm in the Air Force, yeah. And
What motivated you to join the Air Force?
That's a good question. I wasn't good at anything else. I didn't do good in school, and I had to find a way to pay for my life and make a life for myself.
I hear you on that one.
That's where I ended up.
Did you have to go to boot camp?
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you like it?
It sucked.
It sucked. How many?
You're turning this podcast on me now.
Sorry. What was your top pull-ups that you could do?
But we didn't do pull-ups. We
didn't do pull-ups?
No. Well, we did do pull-ups, but it wasn't part of our actual physical fitness test.
What the fuck is that, man?
We did do pull-ups, but only Marines really do pull-ups.
Okay.
But they also eat boxes of crayons for dinner.
But fuck that, dude. I've heard
I'm
the blues
joking.
pretty good. I don't know.
No, it sucked, but it was fun too. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I would do the podcast, but I'm also doing cooking in my own personal life too. I try to cook every day.
What kind of stuff? Like,
And that's
when you're
why I'm
cooking, what are
excited for you to have you on, is because I'm
I
like,
appreciate it.
I love this. Like this whole conversation right here. I'm in your world. I like it. I want to be more involved in your world. I want to do the best I can with all the ingredients I have. I don't know. There's something about it that I enjoy doing.
All right, when you go shopping for food, like where do you go shopping? Do you only go
Kraus
to one
Foods.
spot? Kraus Foods?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's your last name, isn't it?
Yeah.
It blends in, bro.
That's my local grocery store.
Is it really?
Yeah, but normally like
Is it your family owns a grocery store?
my cousins do here
Oh,
in
no
college.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Jeff Krause.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But if I'm like trying to cook some crazy shit like some Indian curry or some Thai curry, I'll go to Dillon's and see what they have, and then if I can't find what I'm looking for, there is a little Mexican market next to McConnell Air Force Base that I'll go to, and they have all the different shit, the weird shit.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they cut their meats differently,
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Yeah,
can
they
buy
do.
different
Very
cuts of
thin.
meat. You can buy like picanha and some other different shit. You can't go to Yoder Meats and get a cut of
You
picanha.
fucking can't get. Yeah, I know.
You know.
Shout out to the Amish, but whatever.
So I'm just getting into it. I'm not totally into it where I'm going to the markets like you all the time and buying some weird shit, but I'm stepping my foot into it, and I want to more and more.
The East Side has like a more of an Indian culture, so there's a lot of cool like markets you can get like lamb at and
Dude,
stuff like that.
yeah.
You eat lamb? Have you had lamb before?
I love lamb, yeah.
So like if you get lamb from like an American market, it's different than if you get it from the Indian.
Is
Indian
it?
market? Yeah.
Because if you go to Sam's Club, you're getting New Zealand lambs,
Yeah.
right?
I think what it is the type of lamb, because like I think there's two main types. There's one that has the oil, the lanolin, and then one that does not. So the one that has the lanolin is, I think, more commonly used in Indian cooking. I don't fucking know. Don't quote me on it. But it gives it like a more gamey taste, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like the gamey taste.
Well, there's a place called N&J Cafe.
I know
Have you ever
that,
been there?
yeah. I have never been there, but I know of it.
They're from the Middle East,
Uh-huh.
and it's really, really good Mediterranean food, and they have a lamb shank every Friday there.
I like lamb shank,
Phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah, and they do it right, too.
Have you ever made it yourself?
No.
Super fucking easy, man. Do the
Is
lamb
it?
shake, put in some red wine, water, just fucking braise it.
Yeah,
For like 2
for a
hours?
chef, it's easy.
It's
You put in some red wine and braise it. Like,
Boom, you're done.
That's
Bada bing, bada boom.
I don't know what you're talking about when you say that. What do you mean put in some red wine and braise it?
Just put it in a pot, let it simmer, put the lid on it, maybe leave a little bit adjacent, and you're good to go.
And you're good to go?
You're good to go, man. Let it sit for a couple hours.
Well, fucking A, man. Do you cook for yourself, too?
I like to cook for myself, yeah, all the time. All the time.
Even as a chef, so if you're done doing, let's say you have your full day where you're cooking for everybody, you still cook for yourself at the end of the day?
If I'm cooking for people like that, I'm actually, it's a hard day because I'm so fucking stuffed because like you are constantly eating, testing the food.
You're
out.
testing
Is
the
this
food
good?
out.
And by the time you're just like, fuck. You
That's the
haven't
best
eaten
part, though.
a full meal. You've just been eating like bites of this and bites of that. But
That's the best part, though, isn't it?
yeah,
That's the best part about being a chef, is trying your
just eating.
product the whole time and
Right.
eating the good stuff and being like, oh, man.
What are your favorite spots around town to go to eat? If you say you're gonna take a girl out You're gonna take her. You want to maybe impress her. You just want to set maybe not impress, but you just want to be like, hey, this is a cool spot I'd like to share with you. Like, do you have like it might be off the top of your head.
Fancy or
anything. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fast food.
Well, Lola's Bistro does really, really good work. Have you ever been there?
I have. I know Lola's Bistro. What's your favorite thing on their menu?
I don't know. I've had like 3 or 4 different things, and usually we share them when we go. I'll go with the good people and we'll share it all. Because I'm a big fan of that. I don't like just ordering my thing and this is what I'm stuck with and you're stuck with that. I like everybody orders a bunch of stuff and we share it. That's how it is in Asia too. Is everybody you have like 20 different things on the table. We're passing around sharing. Lola's Bistro is amazing at combining like Asian cuisine with American and a few other ethnicities I don't want to say because I don't know for sure, but they just the way they blend and mesh dishes and flavors together is amazing.
That's cool.
And they're very good at it. Lola's Bistro. If I'm taking a girl out to like a steakhouse,
are you taking a girl? Why are you taking a girl to a steakhouse? Are you kidding me?
But I'm getting very good at making steaks, bro.
Are you?
Yeah, I dry age all my meat.
No way. Do you have like a special fridge you put it in?
I do. I have a dry age fridge that I put all my meat in. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty rad.
And
what do you go for? A KC strip or a ribeye?
I'm a ribeye fiend myself. Yeah, I'll do a KC strip because it's cheaper.
You eat the whole fucking thing yourself?
No, I won't eat it all myself. I cook it for a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends are sitting over here right now, and they eat a lot of that meat that's dry aged.
He's got his hand over there. Yeah.
Dude, it changes the entire thing. It makes it complex. It makes it tender. It's delicious.
What do you serve it with? Mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes or a baked potato if I'm lazy. Or some grilled asparagus.
I like mashed potatoes, yeah. Grilled asparagus is
Grilled
good.
asparagus and some mushrooms maybe.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But that mashed potatoes, man, that's where it's at. You use the golden potatoes?
I will, or sometimes I like using the little red potatoes.
I like the little red
and mash them up with some garlic too.
Do you peel it or you just like let it chill?
I just let it go. Yeah.
Who wants to do all that work? You kidding
and
me?
my 90-year-old grandma actually said one time, I made her a meal. I made her some steak and some mashed potatoes, and she's like, 80 years I peeled potatoes, and now all you millennials are just putting the skins in there with it. I'm like, sorry, Grandma.
Damn, I'm sorry.
You didn't have to.
Why'd you just say thank you?
No, my grandma, she legitimately makes the best chicken in the world, fried chicken, because her secret is she fries it in lard.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Hell yeah.
And that just
afraid of that shit.
It changes it. It's a different thing. It's not frying it in oil. It's not frying it in vegetable oil or peanut oil like most places do. She's frying it in straight pig lard in a cast iron skillet, and all she's using is flour and salt most of the time.
Bada bing, bada boom,
dude,
man. Simple.
Dude, that shit slaps.
What got you into making curries? Did you have like?
I just ate a lot. I started eating a lot of curry.
Really?
And I was like, I want to know how to do that. Wow. Yeah.
Do you ever make your own? Like, how far do you go when you make a curry? Do you ever make your own like curry paste or?
No, like the last curry that I made was probably a bullshit Americanized curry, but it was an Indian tikka masala. And I used a blend of like garam masala, cumin, smoked paprika, chili powder, and yogurt, and then I do a marinade with that, and then I'll saute like an onion with some garlic and ginger.
That's what's up.
Dump the rest of the spices in there, put some cream, tomato sauce.
Hey.
And that's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah. It's simple, but it's effective.
Simple, it's delicious, and it's good for you. Turmeric. Yep.
You can get fresh turmeric now. You can get it at Whole Foods if you want to pay out the ass. But you can go to Thai Bin and get it pretty cheap.
Can you?
I don't know the quality. I think it's probably pre-frozen.
It's very good for you, too. It's an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah?
Turmeric,
yeah. I like it. So, let's see. Like, do you have a pestle and mortar, the thing that you grind the shit with?
I just bought one, actually.
Dude, it changes the game, man. So if you're doing like, you can buy the whole cumin seeds and do your pepper. You can use the pepper through the fucking mill. But,
and I mean, what's cool about that too is that they last forever.
Did you get a stone or a wood?
It's a stone one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
I'm gonna
do it. I've never actually used it yet, but I just bought it, and I'm excited about it. I've never actually done it.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, we've gone for probably over an hour now, I think. We better wrap it up. As fun as this is, I'm having a blast because this is my favorite subject in the world, honestly. We might have to do a round 2.
I would be fine with that. That'd be cool.
Do you have any last words? Do you want to shout out your cooking channel or your cooking
I don't have a
business?
cooking channel. No. I don't know. I think I should have. I should have come up. Okay, hey. Viola's Pantry, I think it's what it's called. She's getting ready to open up in Cleveland's Corner.
Dude,
Really cool
actually, I
spot.
gave her my card at the Farm and Art Market.
You did?
She's supposed to be coming on at some
Oh
point.
man,
Hopefully.
I can't. I hope she does, bro.
Viola's
I've
Pantry,
never
you better
met her,
come on.
But it's really cool stuff she puts out. Ashley at Crumbs. I feel bad for not being able to. Let me pull this shit up real quick.
Viola's Pantry, if you're listening to this right now, I saw you at the Farm and Art Market. Come on, talk about your pastas.
Let's see here. Who else to shout out? All right, Oven Levin Bakery. Oven Levin
Bakery.
Ashley Purcell. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
You don't want to shout out your own business at all?
Oh yeah, you can if you want to hit me up too. Taylor Made Meals on Facebook.
Taylor Made Meals.
I totally fucking forgot about that shit.
Yeah. Taylor Made Meals.
Yeah, hit me up if you want. You know.
You have an Instagram or a TikTok or anything like that?
I do. Like I have my Instagram's Kitchen Hustler 69, and but it's total trash. Like everything in there is like hella old, and I'm like, oh my. I was like looking through the other day. I was like, I need to get back on Instagram. It's like it's total shit, and it's like, oh my god. Don't promote. So go on and be warned. It's not my best stuff, but it's when I was being adventurous.
Taylor Made Meals.
Taylor Made Meals. Yeah, that's me. So if you're looking for something, if you're looking for a fun adventure, just to talk or whatever. I got a lady who was interested in just like getting lessons on how to cook.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's just try it out and see what
that
happens.
would be fun too.
Yeah.
I would love to do that as well. If you want to ever do that, let's cook together.
Let's just cook together.
And then just show me some of your tips that you have.
Yeah, bada bing. If I have any tips, get a pestle and mortar. Get as the fresh spices as you can. Just read a lot, dick around a lot, have fun. That's the best part.
Fun is the most important.
Yeah, if you don't make a good dish, you can always just go out to a restaurant. Fuck it.
You can always throw it out in the backyard and go to another.
Yeah, watch out for the possums and whatnot. But
well, thanks for coming on, Carl.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having
Carl
me, bro.
Taylor. Cheers, brother. We drank a lot on here. We had some Fat Tire, some Sam Adams.
I'm feeling pretty good.
We had some
I had to stop on the
Starborough.
wine. That fucked me up, bro.
Alrighty, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise.
And
Thank you.
maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do some cooking together.
Yeah, we could do like a cooking video.
I think we should.
Shit like that.
All right, cheers, bro.
All right, man.